Montana's a big state. It's actually the fourth largest state in the country, and they have few medical facilities that are available. Why doesn't anyone live in Montana? Now, first things first, it's not accurate to say that people don't like living in Montana. A bunch do. Many people are attracted to Montana's natural beauty, outdoor recreation, and a much slower pace of life. Like, it's really slow here. If New York City's lifestyle is fast like a jet fighter, Montana's lifestyle is fast like your grandma in a walker with bunions on a cobblestone road. If you don't
This is why I absolutely love this. I grew up in Ireland and I'm always in Scotland. I love the countryside. See, look at the view. Look at the view. Also, where's Montana? I don't know where Montana is. The only thing I know about Montana is when I was younger, I used to watch Anna Montana. So I know about Billy Ray Cyrus. I think, is it from Montana or is it Dakota? I think it's Montana. I think that's the only thing I know about Montana. Again, I've said this in the past. My main knowledge of the US is by watching US TV and television. I'm watching Fox News, CNN, things like that. Apart from that, I've never been to the US. I'm hoping to go to the US very soon. But yeah, let's find out why nobody lives in Montana. And if you're from Montana, let us know.
No, Montana is a state located in the western region of the USA, known for its stunning natural beauty, vast wilderness, and rugged terrain. Despite its scenic landscapes, Montana has one of the lowest populations in the country. They have just over 1 million subscribers, ranking them 43rd out of 50. Their population density is ranked 48th. They only have 7 people per square mile. There are many reasons for this, ranging from geographical, economic, and social factors. In this video,
Do you know what's crazy? The United States of America is so big that 1 million seems so... 1 million is a lot. 1 million... You know, again, I said I grew up in Ireland. Ireland's population is less than 10 million. And you're telling me a state in America that one of the smallest as in population as 1 million. The United States is so big, it's ridiculous. 1 million is not small, but for United States it's small. Wow.
Outline the 10 reasons why Montana has such a low population. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, geographical isolation. So this one showed up when we did this same video for Wyoming and Alaska. They're kind of far away from any major cities. I mean, it's one thing if you're a city away from other major cities, that's different. This is a whole state that really doesn't have any major metro areas around them. Now, this creates a few different problems, and one of the biggest ones is bringing in big industries that hire a lot of people. Montana has seen some small tech startups move there, especially in the Billings area in the recent years, but they haven't had a big boom there. If you know anything about Montana, most of the people are perfectly fine with that. In my opinion, Montana's like one of those...
Sorry, in regards to what you just said about tech companies moving, I think I've been seeing a lot of tech companies move to places like Chicago, Detroit, mainly Michigan. Again, I don't live in the US, but I watch the news. I think I actually watch US news almost every single day. I'm so intrigued about you guys' life. It's crazy. But yeah, I could be wrong, but I've heard places like Texas. Because in the past, companies used to go to California because of the tax reasons. I'm not sure. Is the tax really low over there? But I don't see, again, because Montana is very secluded. For them to move all the way to Montana, you must be some kind of... You must be producing something that can be moved quickly, that doesn't involve a lot of logistics. And also, I'm trying to think, why would I move to Montana as a company? It must be because of the tax reasons. What's the tax like in Montana? Is it good? If it's low tax, there's no income tax, then why not?
Places you shouldn't touch, sort of like the national parks. There's rules against setting up big hotels and things like that on the property. They want to keep it in its pristine condition. Well, Montana's kind of the same way. It'd be nice if we just left it alone. But it's not just the businesses. The isolation makes it difficult for people to access the state and its resources, making it less attractive possible future residents. Number 9, a harsh climate. Yeah, Montana gets a little rough when it comes to the weather. Montana is sort of known for its extreme weather conditions, with cold winters and really hot summers. The state's harsh climate makes it challenging for people to live in.
See, that's something I never understand. It can be so cold and yet be so hot. Like in the UK, especially in Ireland, if it's really cold, it goes to like minus... a good cold in Ireland, probably like -5. That's like crazy cold. You hardly ever get that. And then a good warm in Ireland, probably like the most you get in the summer. A good summer, 30 degrees, 31 degrees Celsius, and you're pushing it. I'm not sure what's that in Fahrenheit, but I'm not sure over in America. It's like it goes really, really, really cold and it goes really, really hot. It's never like in between. The climate there is crazy. Although this is beautiful. This is so beautiful. Imagine going skiing there. That's so beautiful. Or places like Alaska, the snow. Oh, it's beautiful.
And work there, which can deter people from actually calling it home. Talked about this when we were talking about Wyoming, that in the early days when people were settling in different areas, these states that had harsher climates and rough terrain were kind of just overlooked, or they just passed them by when they were heading out west. They got to Oregon, Washington, or California, even Utah, and the land and the weather was a little more hospitable, and they chose those places over Montana and Wyoming. Now, yes, that was a long time ago, but that slowed the growth of the state. Number 8, limited job opportunities. Montana has a relatively small economy with few job opportunities. If you're looking for a job outside of fast food and retail, you're probably going to have to look in forestry, mining, and different farming, like agricultural things.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah, agriculture, because they've got so much land. Yeah, so agriculture, massive. Mining, yeah, as well. I don't see a lot of tech startups there. I don't see that.
Become a ranch hand, clean out the stalls, and shower weekly. Number 7, limited access to healthcare. Montana's a big state. It's actually the 4th largest state in the country, and they have few medical facilities that are available, especially...
That makes no... Wait, Montana is that big? The population is just 4th largest. I know one of the largest is like... Is it California, Texas, New York? Is New York that big? But I never knew Montana was that big. I never knew that. Because no one speaks about Montana is like that. You know, people speak about West Virginia, Louisiana before they speak about Montana. Montana? Is it that big? What?
When you look at the rural areas. This limited access to healthcare can make it difficult for people to receive medical treatment when they need it, which of course makes the state less attractive, especially towards older people or anyone with a chronic health issue. A lot of people never put that together. It's hard to move to a rural area when you have some kind of medical condition that requires monthly treatment. You got to drive 5 hours to get to a hospital to sit in some kind of machine. I mean, sitting in the machine for an hour sucks. What happens if you got to drive 4 hours, 5 hours to get to that machine? Now, their healthcare isn't bad. Their healthcare professionals do a fine job. But when they rate a state or a city's healthcare, accessibility is one of the main things they factor in. And Montana has far too much land and far too few clinics and hospitals. Number 6, lack of diversity. This is one of the things that always gets brought up on these surveys, and it all...
I don't think I've ever... Yeah, because I follow a lot of black American YouTubers, black and white, you know, inclusive and all that. So yeah, I follow a lot of American YouTubers, but I never see anyone that's black that say they're from Montana. Never. The black people are usually from Atlanta, mainly Atlanta. I know black is Atlanta, Texas, Houston, Texas, New York, Los Angeles, not really Los Angeles, Louisiana maybe. But yeah, not West Virginia, no. So West Virginia, Montana, Wyoming, Alaska, you don't see a lot of black people or Hispanic or Asian people. I could be wrong. I probably have to do a video of that. But then it makes a lot of sense. Black people don't like cold. Although I love cold. I grew up in Ireland, so I love it. I'm always wearing shorts. I don't know, I get warm easily, so I love being in the cold. But let me know, do black people live in Montana? I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
also gets the most comments. Now, why would lack of diversity stop someone from moving to an area? Well, there's a few different reasons. One I always bring up is the food. I like to try different foods, and if let's say you don't have a strong Hispanic community, fact is you're not going to find any great mom and pop taco places. Same goes for pho or whatever you're looking for. Now, that's just from my point of view. The other point of view is sometimes when people move to a new place, they want to see at least some people that are like them. This gives you people that you have more in common with. Doesn't mean you want to exclude yourself from the typical community they have there, but Montana is a predominantly white population.
Yeah, that's so true. Even though, like, I grew up in such a, like, the way I grew up is so unique. Like, you guys, like, my streets where I grew, my town where I grew up, we were my family was one of the first black families to live in that area. And growing up was just so normal seeing me as the only black person in that area. In my school, for about 2 years, I was on my secondary school. I was the only black person until some other kid moved in. But then when I went to university, I saw a lot of other black people, and like I loved that because I saw people that look like me. It didn't make it made a lot difference, but it didn't stop me from hanging out with other people. But it just, it's good to see people that look like you. You know what I mean? I think that's everyone in general. Let me know what you guys think about that.
With a lack of diversity in terms of race and culture. Number 5, rural lifestyle. Montana is rural, with small towns and isolated communities scattered throughout the state. This rural lifestyle can make it challenging for people to access resources and services that they may have taken for granted when they live in some urban area. Montana has some cities, but they're not really big cities. Billings is their largest city, and it only has about 115,000 residents, followed by Missoula, which has less than 75,000. Great Falls has about 60,000, and Bozeman has just a little over 50,000. Just kind of put that in perspective if you're not from this country. One of the U.S.'s largest cities is Los Angeles, and they have a population of just about 4 million residents. And if you look at the entire metro area, it's closer to 13 million. So yeah, Montana doesn't really have a lot to offer when you're looking for cities, but they do have a lot of small rural towns. And if this is something you could live with, it's a great place to call home, but it turns a lot of people off. Number 4, limited entertainment and cultural venues. As we just learned, Montana doesn't have a lot of big cities. Big cities come with some negatives, but they also come with some really cool things like a lot of places to see concerts, museums, theaters. They don't have much of that here, and it's just because they've got a small population. If you're one of these people that enjoys stuff like that, Montana might be a hard pass for you. I mean, I'm not a big museum fan, and I don't really care about concert halls or anything like that. I like a good amusement park, and I sometimes like to go to bars that don't play country music in a heavy rotation. But if that's your thing, do it.
But you know what's crazy? That's one of my biggest dreams, to go to a bar that plays country music, because we don't get that. Obviously, I'm not from America, so I'm not used to that. It's so crazy that when you're so used to something, you don't realize or appreciate it. It's crazy. Like, it's like me, when people talk about Scotland, for instance, I'm always in Scotland. I've seen some amazing place, and I get messages saying, "Oh my God, Eddie, I would love to visit Scotland." I'm like, I'm always there every weekend. Like, it's amazing, but I'm so used to it. I still appreciate it because I'm always discovering places, but it's different for someone that they've planned it all their life for like 20 years. Like, that's their retirement plan, to go visit, Europe, or just go to like England, or go to Ireland, or go to Scotland. It's so crazy when you think of it. While for us over here, I'm dreaming of going to Montana. See? It's crazy.
A lot of people in surveys said that was one thing that bothered them about Montana. Now, if you're bored, watch the comments of this video. It's a whole bunch of people from Montana that are saying things like, well, we got to build more museums in if it's keeping them away. Number 3, a high cost of living. Montana has a relatively high cost of living compared to other states in this region. The high cost of living can make it difficult for people to afford Montana, especially for those with lower incomes. Now, there's some states that break the standard rule. When you're not on the east or west coast, you should be cheaper. Montana is a little bit cheaper than, let's say, California and New York, but not much. It's not Mississippi or Arkansas cheap, or even Missouri cheap. One thing I do like about Montana is when you buy property, it's probably probably gonna be a little more expensive than you'd assume it was going to be, but most of their property comes with like an acre or half an acre or something like that. So if you want to get a good sized lot, Montana's probably a good choice. But a lot of people say that the high cost of living really turned them off about Montana.
Yeah, that's something you guys take for granted over there. You guys have space. Like right now, I live in an apartment. Yeah, I'm lucky that my apartment is big enough. It's a 2-bed apartment. But most houses, it's like it's right beside each other. Like we've got detached houses over here in the UK. Like my parents' house, it's detached. Like if you put your ear to the wall, you can hear the neighbors. While I feel like in the US, you don't get that. Over here in the UK, that's normal. And houses are so expensive. I think that's one thing I have to do. So a video comparing houses over in the UK and houses over in the UK and in the US. In the US, the space you guys get, you guys don't appreciate it until you come to the UK. We get no space here.
Cost of living in Montana is normally around 6% above the national average. Is that the worst? Absolutely not. Is it terribly expensive in Montana? Not really. But compared to the other states in the immediate area, yeah, it's a little expensive. Number 2, limited educational opportunities. Montana doesn't have a whole bunch of giant universities like a lot of other states do. They have limited access to higher education. This limited access to education can make it less attractive to young people looking for opportunities to advance their careers or pursue higher education. In other states, they have some really big, really good universities. Not saying there's anything wrong with Montana's. Their problem is they don't have enough. But a lot of times when kids go to a university, they stay in that area. I would say about half the people I know that moved out of state from my hometown didn't really come home after college and move to a new state. They basically never came home from college. Whatever state they went to, they stayed there. No, a handful in Arizona.
Yeah, that's so true. A lot of people do that. That's actually so true. I don't see myself, if I live in, like, let's say I live in California, moving to Montana for university and staying there. Because the lifestyle, you're so used to that Californian lifestyle, or maybe Los Angeles lifestyle, or New York City lifestyle. Imagine going from New York City, seeing the light and all that, to living in a rural town in Montana. It's a big mass, yeah. And also, does Montana have a college football team? I'm sure they do. One of the colleges must have a college football team. But do they have like a team in? I don't see the team being in Division 1. Because if the OC is 1 million, are they rich enough to be able to have a team in Division 1? I don't think so.
Arizona, a couple in the Boston area, whole bunch up here in Oregon, and a few others scattered around the country. Universities do play a big part in growing a population, both in short term and long term. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. There's a link for that down below. We'd love it if you went over there and subscribe. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, public perception. Montana doesn't have the greatest reputation. It's not a bad reputation. They just have this reputation of being kind of vacant, sparsely populated, isolated. And this makes it less attractive to people, like we talked about earlier, that are coming from cities or more populated states. Now, a lot of people love that about places like Alaska, Montana, Wyoming, but more people would prefer to be around a city. So in conclusion, there are many reasons why Montana has a really low population. They range from geographical, economic factors, social.
Sorry, I have to check why people won't move to I used to like West Virginia because of the song. But now I've heard West Virginia is meant to be this poor place. I have to check that out very soon. I really have to check that out. But that was very interesting. Let me know. Do you guys live in Montana? Would you ever move to Montana? What other cities or states is very similar? What other states is very similar to Montana that you want to check out? Comment down below, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.